It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. I welcome the podcast where me, the Captain, talks about movies, TV, sports, flicks, anything you can see on a two-word screen. I like to get on here and give my unique perspective. Because after 47 years of living on planet Earth, I developed a unique perspective about these movies, TV, sports, and flicks, and I'd like to get on here and tell you about it. Because just maybe you care. And according to the stats, it looks like you do care. I want to give a big shout out to Canada. Got some plays over in Canada this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Dodoraba. In Canada, I heard the UFC is headed back to Canada, Vancouver to be exact. So you about to get UFC all up in Canada, some MMA fighting. Yeah, so that's so dope, very cool. MMA up in Canada. And thanks for listening, gracias, gratitude. And just FYI, back in the day, it was cool to be a radio DJ, but never got a job. I think I never got a job because I just didn't practice enough. If I just would have practiced more, maybe that would enable me to become a radio DJ, but it didn't. And it allowed me to become the greatest podcaster in the Matrix. Something to debate might be true, might not be true, but I said it on the internet, so it's gotta be true, right? Because everything on the internet is facts, not facts, true, false, propaganda, fake news, the Matrix, pictures, videos, real life, wind, air, snow, rain. I don't know. I didn't make the internet. Ask the people that made the internet. So when you're online, just be aware, just watch out. Anyways, I could ramble all day, but I won't. Let's get right to the podcast. But first, a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes I rap. And on March 31st, 2023, I rapped again. I dropped my latest album called Nietzsche with my unique rhyme style and spacey electronic beats. I guarantee you've never ever heard an album like this. I promise you this. I'm serious. So if you're interested in hearing something new, if you've never heard before, my unique rhyme style, cool spacey beats, check out Nietzsche. I'll put the link below to my Bandcamp page, and you can experience rhymes like you never experienced in your life. So check the link below. Che Cortez, Nietzsche, very dope. Now, let's get to the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am back again. Let me tell you this. This week, I've been feeling a certain type of way. Not the norm, bro. Because I've been pushing my body and mind so hard. I've been pushing the limits of what my body and mind can take. And now I'm feeling a certain type of way because of that. I'm feeling it. They call that growth. I'm feeling growth, baby. That's growth. When you push your mind and body to the limits, you're going to experience growth. And sometimes it will be uncomfortable. I was a bit uncomfortable this week, to be honest. But it's the truth. It's real. And sometimes to attain that growth, to expand to a different level, sometimes to move forward, to grow, to go further, you need to feel a little bit discomfort. And I'll be honest, in the last few years, I've been experiencing it quite a bit. So you know what? I must be growing. Am I growing? I don't know. I'm no expert. Maybe I'm growing, maybe I'm not. But I'll tell you what, I've been very uncomfortable. and one thing too, like I've been chasing that too. Like I've been like volunteering sometimes. You know, sometimes discomfort is thrust upon us, right? And we have no choice, and it's thrust upon us. And that happened to me a lot back in the day. But these days, I'm just choosing it. Like the option is there, and I'm choosing the discomfort. I figured this, I'd rather choose it than have it thrust upon me. Something about choosing it makes it easier to deal with, not as comfortable. I think maybe because when you choose it, there's a little more control involved in that. I don't know, whatever, but I've experienced a little bit of discomfort. And that's just the path to growth. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm no expert. I'm no ologist. Who knows? They just made it all up. Anyways, whatever. Now it's time to podcast. And this week, I'm going to talk about my most favorite franchise on planet Earth. And I am talking about the one, the only. Beat me up, Scotty. Live long and prosper. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, you do. I'm talking about the one and only Star Trek. Yeah, baby, Star Trek. And this week, I got to watch Star Trek Picard. Surrender. Oh, surrender. Oh, I hate surrender. But sometimes surrender is necessary. Yes, I'm going to talk about that. But first, a couple things. There will be spoilers. And I do own some shares in the parent company of Star Trek. I just want to let you know, to be clear and transparent. Now that I told you that, let's get into Star Trek Picard. Surrender. Ladies and gentlemen, Star Trek Picard just keeps getting better. Like, this show is absolutely phenomenal. It is great. It feels like I'm back in 1990s again. It feels like I'm back there when I was like 20-some years old, watching Star Trek on a CRT TV in an apartment. Next Generation on a little square TV, bro. Yeah, it feels like a little bit like that. The only difference is I got high definition and a larger TV, and I'm in a casa now. Very different, but the same. Different, but the same. We revisit the same characters. Jean-Luc Picard, Jordan LaForge, William T. Riker, Beverly Crusher, Data Lore, right? Worf, Son of Moog. Right? It's all those characters, right? But you're just a little bit older. Kind of like me. I'm older now. When I saw them in the day, I was younger. I'm seeing it again now, and I'm older. Time has passed. I have now become an old man. Am I old man? Is 47 years old an old man? I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm old man or not. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Who knows? Does it really matter? Who cares? Old, young, whatever. All I know is I'm watching Star Trek Picard, and it's a beautiful, wonderful show. It's so awesome. And this week, bro, guess what happened? This week, guess what happened? Well, actually, it happened last week, but they continued this week. So real quick, every Star Trek series, this will happen. If there's a ship, the ship will get taken over by the villain. It happens every series. It's not if, it's when it'll happen. If the show goes on long enough, eventually the ship will get taken over by the villain. It's just standard Trek. And of course, Star Trek Picard, it happened. Ship got taken over. I think it's the second time they got taken over in the first or second season, if I remember correctly. I don't know, but if you wait long enough, the ship will get taken over. The fun part of it is, though, how do they take it back, right? We've seen so many ways of taking back a ship over like so many hours of TV and movies. Like they get the ship taken and then somehow they get it back. How does it happen? It's done so many different ways, and this was no different. They put their own unique spin on how they took the ship back. So they lost the ship and they got the ship back. Yeah, that's how it works. But I'll be honest, for a minute there, I wasn't entirely sure they were gonna get it back. I thought this might be one instance where maybe they don't get the ship back. Sooner or later, watching these Trek shows, sooner or later, they're not going to get the shit back. I'm just saying, I just feel it's going to happen. Maybe it's already happened. I can't recall if it has. But I feel if it has, I don't remember it. And it was only maybe like one time. But I feel if you wait long enough, sooner or later, they're just not going to get the shit back. Right? I hope that don't happen. Because I want our heroes to win the day. But anyways, this episode, they got the shit back. Yeah. And that pesky Vedic, what's his name? Vedic. That nasty villain with a bad attitude. That crazy lady. But she's on the ship executing people. Like a crazy, insane lady. Like a villainous, nasty piece of work. She's just vaporizing Titan crew members. Right? Because she's like, bro, I need you up on the bridge, Jack Crusher. And this lady wants Jack Crusher for some reason. And she's willing to execute crew members for this. So she did all that. So this all happened in the show. It was I'll be honest. I was kind of like, man, this is a little dark. I mean, generally, I don't think Trek has went dark like that. This Trek, like I said before, is more like the Game of Thrones kind of version of Trek, because it is a little bit darker. There's some cuss words. There's some violence. Back in the day when you watched TNG, they would vaporize people, but the vaporization didn't feel like this. This vaporization just felt so much more emotional, so much more real, or so much more darker. Like I said in a previous episode, this is basically like the Game of Thrones version of Star Trek, meaning that basically it's just a little bit realer, grittier, darker, right? And I like it. And they've modernized it, right? It's got all the awesomeness of the TNG, but they just made it just a slightly more grittier, just a little grittier version. I know some people are complaining because Picard was swearing. I think another character swear, like, oh my gosh, they cussed. How dare they cuss? I'll be honest, I don't cuss. I don't use cuss words. But a lot of people I know cuss. Cussing and swearing is a pretty common way to speak. I choose not to do that. I used to cuss back in the day, and I chose to change my vocabulary because I want to talk like a smart person. And I felt smart people didn't cuss. But now in 2023, smart people do cuss. It doesn't matter if you're smart or dumb or intelligent or not intelligent. All walks of life cuss. I just feel it's just like it's such a lazy way to speak because there's so many words in the languages. And why just focus on those words? I was coming up as a young person, I heard all types of people cussing all day, cussing, working on cars, cussing. There's probably like 5 words. They say them all the time. Very mad, angry. Like, there's so many other ways to communicate. Why do that? But anyways, whatever. Picard chose to cuss. And the internet was flipping out. Like, oh my gosh, he wouldn't talk like that. Picard doesn't talk like that. Maybe younger Picard didn't talk like that. But fast forward to old Picard. Old Picard cusses. And he drinks, right? He drinks and cusses. Yeah. He says, after these rules, bro, I'm just gonna have some fun, cuss and drink. But yeah, so anyways, like just this show and the previous ones is just a very darker, grittier Next Generation, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I do like the grittier, darker version of Trek. It's nice. It's just an interesting spin on it. All these shows since Discovery came out have their own unique spin on Trek. They all do their own unique thing. And I do like that they bring their own uniqueness. Like the 2020s version of Trek, each showrunner bring their own unique spin. Makes it different than the previous Treks, makes it different than TOS, makes it different than the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise. I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't like that it's different, that it's new, and it's this and it's that, whatever. But I mean, it's 2020s. You can't expect them to make Trek like they made it in the 90s or late 80s, 90s. Or like the 60s, it's gonna be different. And then when they make more Trek in the future, 20 years from now, it'll be different again, right? The beautiful thing about Trek is it can evolve and change with the time period. Stay true to Roddenberry's vision, of course. They stay true to that. You gotta use that as the guide. Also modernize it so it can connect more with the younger generation and the different mindsets and different belief systems that people have developed in the years that pass, right? So you still stay true to Trek, but also evolve it a bit. And I know some people hate it. I'm not one of those people. I like all the new Trek that came out. Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, Prodigy, Strange New Worlds. They're all great. So anyways, it's a fantastic episode. They lost the ship. They got it back. Vadic died. She did. She died. They finally got rid of that nasty changeling. She was, oh, what a piece of work she was. So yeah, great episode. Fantastic episode. Love it a lot. Yeah, so it's going down. And that's all I want to talk about this week. Nice short one this week. This is kind of like one of those episodes. It's kind of a transition episode. There should be some real big happenings next episode for sure. So anyways, that's all I want to talk about this week. Star Trek Picard, surrender. And until next time, we'll see. Be patient and tough. Someday this pain will be useful to you. Ovid. Until next time, Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks Flicks.